Oh, me hearties, a very good evening to you, dinky do. It's just me, Scottie Mcclue, and we are, of course, live streaming live on YouTube just for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a superb evening with lots and lots to talk about, and, of course, so little time to do it in. Lovely to have you all with us. Who have we got here? Everybody's been on, my goodness me. Kareem was the very, very first one, top of the list. Hello, Scottie. How are you today? Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well and enjoying your day from Kareem. Good evening, Scottie. Hope you're good today. Fantastic. Stephen Douglas. Hello, Kareem, says Stephen. Hello, Kareem and Stephen. Says Gordon Robertson. You're both early. You're all early. Hi, Gordon. Yeah, got to be here. Missed a lot last night. Watched it earlier. Says Stephen Douglas. Well done, Stephen. Top man. Hello, Scottie. There's a few of us here waiting for you to make an entrance. Oh, down I come here down the big staircase, Gordon Robertson. Never a dull moment, you see. And who else have we got? Craig Cochran. Scottie, good evening, everyone. Hope you're well tonight. Oh, absolutely, Craig. Better for hearing from you and everyone else. Hi, Craig, says Gordon. Good evening, says Glenn. Glenn Peacock in the Midlands. Evening, Glenn. Hope you're well, Gordon, says Glenn. Dinky do, Scottie, how are you, says the wonderful J-Dog Gaming. I'm hoping to see the stream, but had to go into hospital this morning, so Wi-Fi not so good. Aha, Craig. I'm dinky do, as me Mcclue would say. Yes, we're all dinky do. What's up, Craig? Gordon Robertson? Oh, I see. Well, it's Gordon asking. You don't have to tell him, Craig, if it's terribly personal. Hello, dinky do, Scottie. Dinky do to all the regular listeners from the wonderful Robert Scrimger. Evening, Flen, says Stephen Douglas. I think that Flen might be Glenn. Wee bit of predictive text. And good evening all, says Nemesis. Good evening, Nemesis. On a bottle of brandy, says Robert Scrimger. Hope it's 5-star, Robert. None of your nonsense. Come on, Scottie, we're waiting, says Professor Numptyhead. Well, you have to wait until 8 o'clock, Professor. That's when Mcclue pops up. I have colitis, Crohn's, had a bad flare-up. Craig, we send strength to you and calming to your insides. Nice bit of calm there. Karma. Hope you get over it soon, Craig, says Gordon. Looking rather good today, Scottie. I thank you. Do I not look good normally? So there we are, but thank you very much. Very kind of you. I thought I'd smarten myself up. Kareem says pupils will not have to distance when Scotland schools return in August, but teachers will. So there we are. A new report from advisors said no distancing should be required between pupils. Yes, I find all this a wee bit strange, Kareem. It sounds to me like there's been a bit of pressure from somewhere. That's what I feel. It's funny that the science has suddenly said, I know lockdown, I know it's all very high risk, I know you should have face masks on if you go out, all that, but no, the Waynes can go back to school, for goodness sake, and there doesn't, never forget distancing. Oh, that's the idea. Last night was great, a wee bit of overtime again, needed. Alistair Campbell, naughty, I see what you just did there. No, I enjoy it if the stream's going well and it's interesting. It was very interesting because I went on a certain talk radio Facebook stream this morning and had a lot of cheek from a lot of very cheeky people. And it was interesting. And there was a fair bit of argy-bargy. And the poor old presenter was doing his stuff. And nobody was bothered. They were all argy-bargying with Scottie Mcclue. And I thought, this is very interesting. This proves my point that people want to interact with each other. The day of having somebody sitting up on a radio talking to this politician and that politician and somebody that got stung with a bee and all that sort of stuff, that's kind of over. And it showed me that even on social media, there was a demand for a bit of argy-bargy. Very, very interesting. So there you go. Thank you very much, says Craig Cochran. We send you strength. Can I call you on Skype, Scottie, says Glenn. Yes, you can, Glenn. I would need to check if it was on and if it was working and all that. It says here it's on and working. So you could try your hand. It doesn't matter who argues with you, Scotty. You always come out on top. Well, we try to simply, Stephen, because I'm giving out the facts. You see, normally people are angry anyway. And the thing about it is they're angry in a certain way. So if they were brought up with one side, they don't like the other side. I can see all the points of view, and I want to know why this person is argy-bargying. Do you know what I mean? Like we had a guy on here one night, and I was talking about a very, very prominent family, and he said, I wouldn't have anything to do with that muck. Now, that's a very, very weird way to go about your life. Do you see what I mean? Hello, you're on to Scottie Mcclue.
Hi, how you doing, Scott?
How you doing, Glenn? Are you dinky-doo?
I'm dinky, Scotty. You said you listened to a show this morning on one of the channels.
Yes, one of the channels. We shan't mention the channel, or we shan't try to find out. And I was on the social media page, and there was a bit of argy-bargy broke out, and they were turning on me. And as I say, the poor old presenter was trying to, run a show, but they would rather have an argy-bargy with Mcclue.
They're never going to win with you, Scotty, are they?
Well, you never know, I mean, it's interesting.
They can try.
Well, what's interesting is that they don't have an argument, so they turn it into a personal slag-off,
They haven't got into Scotty, have they?
And I'll explain to them, I'll say, look, I am a very intelligent man. Oh, who do you think you are? And that starts, and I say, look, I'm just telling you. And then I told them, they said, you're a simpleton. I said, I have I'm a simpleton with an IQ of 164. And this halfwit goes, more like 64. Now, he doesn't know, that's not an argument.
They're the ones that can't turn the chairs right way around, Scott.
They don't know whether they're sitting the right way around on the lavatory.
So, They don't even know which way to put their head down lavatory, whether it's up or down, do they?
Absolutely. They don't know if they're in Sheffield or Topfield.
I mixed up.
They don't know if they're in Midlands or Shadowlands.
I was concerned about what Daniel put last night. Scotty didn't get back.
No, he didn't. No, I didn't hear any more. Poor old Daniel, he had some news. But
if he's okay, get in touch with him, and it's
because he's a good lad, is Daniel. We want to
definitely,
we want to see he's okay. Absolutely.
As Mrs. McLeod Johnson, Scott.
Mrs. McLeod, both downstairs actually, but there's now going on, Glenn. I've got eyes in the back of my head, as you know. So I don't think they're going out. And Johnson's always very busy polishing. You know what I mean? So
all that silver and stuff, Scotty.
He's got it's mainly copper actually, but he's got the waistcoat on and the sleeves rolled up, And he gets a bit annoyed if you ask him to do something else when he's doing it. You say, never mind that, Johnson. Can you go and get such and such?
Stick to your job. Stick to your job, Johnson. Keep on to it.
Keep on to it. That's what it's about. Do what he's paid for.
Also with facial mask at end of month.
Aye, facial mask. So you've got to, end of month. Well, we've got them now, you see. I've already done a public information piece. So you'll see it on TikTok. If you go on TikTok and look up at Scottie Mcclue.
Personally, Scotty, I think if we need to follow Scotland's footsteps, really, don't we?
I actually put that up. That's what caused the argy-bargy, and then they start slagging off the Scottish minister instead of realising. I said, look, you could all do with a bit of honesty and a bit of transparency and a bit of clarity,
What clarity are we getting from our administration? I mean, it's got enough.
Well, the English administration are not giving you clarity. They're going, now wait a minute. No, don't wear a mask. Oh no, you can don't worry about mask. Put a mask on. Put a mask on, or you'll break law.
That's it.
So you sort of don't know where you are. I mean, that's the whole thing. Very, very strange. Absolutely.
It's not just... It's Boris Karloff, like I said to you, Scotty, the other night.
Well, there we go. Do you remember him? Great, big, tall guy.
I do, yeah.
Do you remember him in The Mummy?
I do, yeah.
My
That was some good stuff.
My dad used to walk like that when he had bad back. He was a great big tall man. Listen, you take great care of yourself.
And you, Scotty.
And we'll catch up soon, lad.
Has Thomas been on yet? Ian says he's got
no, I haven't been on tonight, but we'll have it on. I hope he's not giving you too much cheek.
We'll keep... I think he's jealous, Scotty.
You think perhaps he's jealous of your intelligence?
A little bit, Scotty, yeah.
We'll keep an eye open. We'll see what's what. We'll see what's to do. You take it easy, lad. I'll see thee.
Take it easy, Scotty. See you later, man.
See the lad. See thee. See the lad. Right, that's Glenn, our Glenn, of course. What a great guy. And quality chat, I say, never a dull moment. Now, who else have gone? What's been going on here? Let's see what's what. Let's see what's what in the RG Bargy. Been golfing today. Oh, here's J-Dog. Is that the earliest one? Oh, yes. Last night's great. Wee bit of overtime. J-Dog says, been golfing today. Also been working on my stream. I said something in the chat yesterday, but you missed it. I was just saying I was working on some streaming stuff for you. Very kind of you, J-Dog. And can I tell you that I was working on mine last night, and you'll see now a subscribe button at the top. Can you see that? So if you've not subscribed, folks, there's a subscribe button right at the top of the website for YouTube, right at the top of the YouTube. So please do subscribe. We need to build our subscribers. So there we are. Thank you very much, says Craig. Glenn's called us. Dinky Doo says, Scotty, can you tell me the country that is the oldest parliament in the world? The oldest parliament in the world. Let me just have a think. You see, St Kilda had its own parliament. They met down Main Street in the morning. The oldest parliament in the world. Are you sure it's not Scotland? You know? Because the old Scottish Parliament went back a fair old bit, I can tell you that. But the oldest Parliament in the world. What country has the oldest Parliament in the world? If you're talking about, are you talking about uninterrupted Parliament, or which one goes back the farthest, or whatever? You know, because it might be an Indian or an African country. You know, that doesn't matter who argues with you, Scotty. You'll come out top to Stephen. Kareem, face coverings are not required for most children or adults who can maintain a distance. Adults cannot keep a 2 meter distance or interacting. Face-to-face for 15 minutes or more. Face coverings, yes. So as a teacher, Kareem, will you be wearing a mask? That's the big question. Or will you be taking one on and off? Gordon Robertson, some of those talk radio social media groups can become quite toxic. Shocking, Gordon. Very, very rude inadequates. You know, and why are they watching? Because the program's way, way, way beyond them. They're well out their depth watching one of these talk radio channels. So there we are. Fantastic, J-Dog. Going for some din-dins now, Scotty. Lovely fish pie tonight. Au revoir. Tell us what fish when you get back. Bon appetit, mon ami. There we are. Enjoy your dinner, J-Dog. Speak soon, says Stephen. Guys, we must get sharing. This is serious now. We've been on for a while, and we haven't done any sharing. And that is tut-tut-tutty-tut, tut-tut-tut-tut. I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right, says Scott. Yes, absolutely, Scott. Scotty, I don't really argue. I just give them the facts, and people don't like the truth. They come on and they say something like, everybody should get back to their work. And you go, yes, and die? Is that what you want people to do? Just surrender their lives to a half-witted idiot like you because of, and you give them the statistics, and they go, you're an idiot. They start all that. 1 in 4 frogs is a leapfrog. Craig Cochran, great. Great call, Scotty, says Glenn. It was Glenn. Excellent call. Well done, La. Scotty, I have some good news, says Kareem. We need to hear it, Kareem. Glenn, if everyone would do calls like you, then Scotty will let it happen. It would be great, says Stephen Douglas. Absolutely. Scotty, have you seen the movie Brigadoon? I have, Brigadoon. 1 or 2 English actresses in it. I've booked a house for next weekend in Carlisle. So that's my exotic holiday for the summer. Now, Kareem, that is a beautiful part of the world. What you should do is go for a walk in Gelt Woods. Now, this you need to be a bit careful with, Kareem. The dogs would love it if you're taking the dogs. So there were Catherine Raven says, Kareem, run away with me. Can I call Skype? Of course you can, Kareem. And I'll give you the details. Absolutely. Afternoon, Scottie and all, says Jonas McSpurren. Jonas McSpurren, afternoon. Where are you again? Tell us, Jonas. You're out in an exotic place. And we always have to ask, is it Bermuda you're in, did you say? Do tell, do tell. So our afternoon, Scotty. Yes, afternoon to Jonas McSpurren. Kareem, of course you can call. You should be able to actually Skype now. With a bit of luck, it will be on. And we can have Kareem on the Skype. I see no reason why not. Ships, I see no ships. Afternoon, Scotty and all. We like that. Yes, so do, Kareem, come on. Guys, we need to share. We must share. This is just so important. Hello, Kareem.
Hi, Scotty. How you doing?
Well, dinky doola. Fantastic. And I'm getting very chuffed. I've got a subscribe button since last night.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Right.
I don't know if you can see it.
I've subscribed already, so I need to subscribe again.
Jonas McSpurren. No, of course you don't. I wouldn't let you. You can only subscribe once. It's what Jonas has said. He's in Bermuda. A very warm Bermuda today. Lucky
Yes.
man. Now then, Kareem, tell us what's happening. I've got some great ideas for you.
Yes, I've just Google searched that forest you've just said there, and it looks lovely. Massive.
Gorgeous for the dogs. The dogs will absolutely adore it, I can tell you that. And there's beautiful streams and rivers.
It's a parking space there at all.
Yes, there's good parking. It might be busy, that's the only thing, but it just depends. You can check it out. But there is a fair bit of parking. There's a car park, and then you can also park up the road as far as I know.
Right, okay,
now,
that's
the only
fantastic.
thing is, do be very careful because it's just off the A69. So
Right,
when you turn off for Carlisle, left is the A69 for Newcastle. Right is into Carlisle past a well-known superstore. And that's you getting into Warwick Road. Okay? That's you heading into Carlisle. So when you're taking the dogs, if you're in Carlisle, you'll be coming out of Carlisle. Alistair Campbell, I saw that. I'll be telling them. Alistair Campbell's just put £2 into the dollar. Yes, I'll give him a lot of thanks for that. But so you'd go out the A69 now. You'll pass Warwick Bridge. The road's quite dangerous. Be careful. It's quite narrow over the bridge. You're on the main road, and then you're going to take a right turn when you're a fair bit along the road for the Gelt Woods. But once you're there, you'll love it. And the dogs, you can park, you let the dogs out, and they can run.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Scotty.
Right, safe. So that's a nice one. Another nice one is called Tochen Tarn, and that's like a loch. And you go round the loch. You can walk right round it. It's lovely. Beautiful countryside down there.
Yes. Oh, yes.
See, I used to work for Border Television, which was based in Carlisle.
Ah, right.
So I spent many years in Carlisle, you see.
It is,
it's actually
the house is in Newtown, sorry. It's to the left of Kyle.
You're to the left as you're going in.
Yes.
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 Right.
So you go down to the big bottom. There's a big, I can't say the supermarket, but
No, that's it. There's a big supermarket.
It rings with berries. If you know, it rings with berries, the supermarket, so it's all from there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's fine. And, you know, I know exactly where you'll be going. So you'll have a very nice time. So you're just to the north, I think, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. So
there's lots of places down there that are fantastic for the dogs, and I thought it was either there or up in Inverness, and I just felt I got more for what I was paying for in Carlisle than what I'd have
you do very well, and Cumbria is a lovely, lovely part of the world.
Yes, but I need to be careful because of I think they're a bit more relaxed with masks, etc. down there at the moment. Whereas
you're in England, you see, so you're abiding by the English rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. As soon as you're over that border, you know that's you in England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll be wearing a mask regardless in the shops, whether or not they've introduced it yet or not. I don't know.
Yes, I don't know. I don't think that'll be a problem. I think the people will be delighted, you know.
Yes. Also, Scottie, I sent that stuff just at the start of the stream because it was on an article, and I'm absolutely shocked. And I left a comment about it that children don't need to social distance, but if you're a teacher, you have to still keep 2 meters back from the children and other members of staff. That's the report recommended.
Now, you see, this is all very strange because as a teacher, the children will want to leave you work, show you work. The other thing is, what about all the rules when they were talking about the blended learning? They said you can't give out books. They would need to have their own copy. You can't take them in at the end. You can't send a child to get books or to take books back. So any of that stuff. Now, you see, it's going to be very, very confusing for you, I think, Kareem.
Yes, well, I think what concerns me, and I think what I've been reading was came across from this report, is it's okay, kids don't get affected. They are carriers, so I've left the comment, well, that's fine if they carry it. It just means they're going to be passing it on to their parents and relatives, and
their grandparents.
Will go back up.
Their grandparents, they could pass it on to the teachers.
Yes.
You know.
Now, I know for if I make it, I caught it. Okay, is it track and trace they're calling it? So everybody that I've been in contact with will need to be off and isolating. So on average, I can have 369, let's say 120 to 160 kids a day. Are they all going to have to stay off? Are they all those parents now going to have to go and get tested? And if that's just one teacher, you think across 30 schools in Glasgow, secondary schools alone, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness me. Well, everywhere. I mean, you know, we'll not single out one place. You know, teaching is teaching all over the country. Yeah. Oh, my goodness me. But if there's a spike, Kareem, you know, I mean, I don't know. And I know a number of teachers have died with coronavirus. I've lost friends of mine who were teachers, you know.
Yes, so it's quite worrying. It's quite worrying.
It's a very worrying time, Kareem, but we will keep on top of it. And if we continue the streams after lockdown, then we've got a place we can all talk.
De-stress, that's the best thing, Scottie.
We can have a de-stress, and that's what I was saying to the ones that are wanting to cause trouble. We're not that kind of stream. We're for lovely people who want to have a chat.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of immaturity out there, and I think they're used to a certain style on social media where they attack and take the rip out and this laddish banter. And this seems not about that. It's about people just talking, interacting, and being civilised. I think that's
very civilised, and also, as you so rightly said, it gave people a timetable, especially when we're doing the mornings as well. It gave people a timetable. I'll need to get up and hear what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And I know, I watch all these other programs on television and radio, discussion programs, so-called, and I watch them, and I know that they can't hold a candle to what we're doing here. You know, the only difference is our audience at the moment aren't up to full strength, but they will be.
Yes, it just takes time, Scott, and it's growing as we speak. Yes. Every week it grows more.
Yes, absolutely. I should have started it. I've been on YouTube since 2011, but I didn't really do anything with it apart from upload a few random videos occasionally. But having said that, they didn't in those days have the live stream facility of this caliber.
Yes.
This is fantastic, and the speeds have got so much faster in the last few years as well.
Yes, I was reading again that 5G is being rolled out throughout the country, and it will take a long time for it to come into full function. But they're already talking about the planning for 6G. I thought it's crazy how fast things are moving.
That is crazy stuff. Very, very interesting. But I do love the technology because it allows us to do this. And particularly during coronavirus, I probably have been banned from going into a radio or television studio, all that sort of stuff. And there's nobody can say, I saw Scottie the other night and it looked a wee bit amateur. It looked almost as if he was doing it from a studio at home. Because everybody, whether it's the Prime Minister or the Queen or whoever, is doing it from home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're seeing all your so-called top politicians and stuff, your top broadcasters, they're all doing it from their house.
Yes. No.
Some of them are not at ease. I was watching one today that couldn't find his camera. And he was just looking away. I mean, as a teacher, you'll have seen some senior boys maybe telling you a whopper, and they look away a bit, and you think, I'm just getting a lot of nonsense here, And it looked a wee bit like that, It looked as if somebody was maybe telling a whopper. Kareem, lovely talking to you. When you go
it's good CPD, but yes, Scottie, sorry for interrupting you. Listen, take care anyway, Scottie, and Dinky Doo. Thank you for taking my call.
Dinky Doo, lovely to hear you, and we'll catch up soon. And thanks for all your wonderful support and your generosity.
Thank you very much, Scottie. Have a good night. Bye.
All the best. Bye, Kareem. Ta-ra. There we are. Fantastic. That's our Kareem on the Skype. The Skype's amazing, guys, actually. Scottie, you're a guest in my house. Why haven't you got a mask on? I could put one on, Professor Numpty, but you should social distance. So I hope you're standing 2 meters back from your phone. See you soon, Stephen. Oh. Hello.
Scottie, how you doing?
How you getting on, Scott? Are you okay?
I'm good, yourself?
Better for hearing you. Lovely to hear you.
I've just delivered my curries and it's over.
You've done what?
I'm out delivering the curries tonight.
All right, fantastic stuff. You're out and about.
Oh, out and about the car. I got you on the hands-free one nice and day.
That is, Scott, this is wonderful. Thank you for calling, because this is terrific. I mean, that's you in your car, hands-free, and you can chit-chat.
Oh, I can that, and what I do is I put the screen off and I stick it on the speaker of the car and if I may listen to you while I'm driving.
And tell me this, Scott, does it sound like the radio to you?
Aye, it's as good as the radio sounds, maybe a wee bit better when you're on there.
Fantastic, that is absolutely wonderful. I am delighted. And you're off down the road.
I'm off down the road, I'm in Barhead just there somewhere.
Excellent, Scott. Thank you very much for getting in touch. That is brilliant, and I love the technology. It gives us
no problem.
It gives us a sense of hope for the stream.
Definitely. Keeps the ball there anyway.
Keeps it going. Bless you, Scott. Thanks very much. Hey, and Dinky Doo, safe journey.
Thank you. Good to have a good night.
Top man. Thanks, Scott. There we go, guys.
Bye.
What about that? So there we are. Fantastic. We'll give it that. That is absolutely amazing. So Scott's driving in his car or in his truck. He's got his hands-free, perfectly safe, no screen on, and he's doing it as you would take a hands-free call. Wow. Does that not say incredible things? So there we are. Craig Cochrane. See you soon, Stephen. Hope Nicola doesn't quarantine Kareem at the end of his holiday. Gordon Robertson, yes, he's been in England. Scottie, you're a guest in my house. We've done that one, Numpty Heat. Totally agree, Kareem. Kareem, have a great holiday. Evening, Scotties is wonderful, Tony. Kareem says, thanks, Catherine. And Davy Young's joined us, LTNC Scotty. Yes, lovely to see you, I think that means. Scotty, have you ever thought of doing a Zoom call with multiple people on at the same time? It's a thought, Eddie Doll. You see, the whole thing's possible. I just need to get a bit of planning with your input. This is because it's our stream. Never mind the Scottie Mcclue live stream. It's our stream. You see, I am but the catalyst. Sharing, guys. We need to share. Nobody knows we're on. What's going on? There's just a puckle of us here know what's happening. Right. Share, share, share. We must share. Have you all shared? Everybody share. Tell 10 to tell 10 that we are live. Right. Okay. I'll do a bit of that, and that will give me something to pop in there. Right. Usual stuff. Lots of sharing, guys. We must get these figures up tonight. And there's a new subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Subscribe. You'll see the button at the top of the YouTube site. It's there. I put it there myself. Live now. There we go. Wonderful. Right, that's gone on to YouTube. Kareem sent £1. Kareem, very, very generous of you. Thank you. And who sent money before? There it is. Alistair Campbell, you naughty boy. £2. And Alistair, very interesting. The talking Tom. Yes, it's actually talking. So there we are. Talking is the place. And there's High Talking. Talking Tom is a tune by Donald Ridley of Brampton. Wonderful stuff, because I went to, I think it was Fraser McGlynn playing in Brampton. Fantastic. It was wonderful. So there we are. Popping out with the dog. Be back soon as I can, says the wonderful Stephen Douglas. See you soon, Stephen, says Craig. So there we go. Evening, evening. Yes, so a Zoom call. So that's a possibility. I'm on the train with no earphones. Thomas, dinky doo. So you haven't got your earphones. Tell everybody in the train you're watching Scottie Mcclue. They'll not mind. You might get the odd dafty that goes, Shoo, but the rest of them will go, oh, what's he on? They'll all get their phones out. Say, does anybody mind if I listen to Scottie Mcclue live on YouTube? You can all subscribe. Scotty, thank you for taking my call tonight. Kareem, it's always a privilege to take your call. You're a very, very interesting and erudite man. So there we are, and you will have a wonderful holiday down there. Countryside stunning. Hi, Glenn, says Thomas. There they are. Hi, Thomas, says Glenn. Thomas, Glenn was asking about you tonight if you were coming on. Kareem, I hope you're going to send a holiday postcard to everyone via Scotty, says Gordon Robertson. He can text us all on the YouTube channel. He'll be able to come on the YouTube channel. I mean, Carlisle is quite modern. They've got the internet and everything. Kareem, thank you for sending me £1. Kareem has just tapped the dollar. Tony says, I've just upgraded to a 5G mobile. Not sure if 5G is available yet. Well, if you've upgraded to it, you'll know when you try it out, Tony. That will be your answer. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, I say. On holiday postcards, I used to write, weather is here. Wish you were beautiful. Gordon Robertson, you're a wee bit of a wag. Did you ever buy some postcards at Blackpool? So there we are. Gordon, I'll need to buy you all a gift. What would you like, Scott, etc.? Any suggestions? Kareem, you just bring yourself. That's a gift for us. Any more likes, guys? Come on, we must get the figures up. Right, I haven't shared. That's what's wrong. Nobody's shared. Everybody's got carried away with themselves. The figures are dropping. Come on, guys, if the figures drop, then we'll not be able to do it. And we don't want that. We do not want that. So there we go. Right. Pardon me, a little bit of sharing going on here. You should be able to get this on Facebook. All right? Should be able to get that on Facebook now. Scotty, it feels like back in the day your comments will be stamp it through and stout out the door. It does sound like the radio. It's brilliant. Last night was amazing. Last night was quite outstanding, actually, to be quite honest with us. It really was, Catherine. So what do we got here? Hi, Davey, says Catherine. A stock of rock, please, says Kareem. Gordon Robertson, are you at it? I'm sure it's a stick of rock. So there we are. Fantastic. Do you put a stick cube in your soup? Actually, you won't do stick cubes. You will do proper soup. Hello, Catherine, says Davy Young. They all deserted the carriage when they heard you. Thomas Peden, there'll be more getting on at the next station because the word will go round and you will be mobbed. They'll be standing social distancing trying to see your phone. So there you go. Fantastic. Glenn fancies me. Thomas, I think you're flattering yourself. I think you've maybe got a soft spot for Glenn. That's what I would say. Scottie Mcclue, the voice of the nation. Eddie Doyle, I couldn't have put it better myself. First Lord of the Internet, world's top broadcaster, world's most humble man, the voice of Scotland. Maybe finish my story about me and my wee bint of a daughter, says Davy Young. Yes, Davy, tell us more. Kareem, bring me back your good self. Enjoy your holiday. That will be great. Absolutely. Lol, Gordon, says Catherine. I think Zoom might have a limit to how many people can be on at one time. Yeah, but Tony, we could maybe do a Zoom call and get maybe yourself, Gordon Robertson, Catherine, everybody on at the one time, if you see what I mean. Thomas, I'm straight. I've got a girlfriend. There you go, Thomas. Sounds like you're out of luck there. So you can still fancy me. I'm not judging you. You're only human, says Thomas. Absolutely. We're all only human, Thomas. Newsflash. Gordon, what colour of rock do you like? Pink is my favourite, says Kareem. Gordon, are you into pink? Are you in the pink? Glenn, a lady was flirting with you last night, says Roger. Yes, was that not the beautiful woman? So there we are. Davy Young says shared. Yes, can everybody share, please, guys? For goodness sake, share, even if you don't want to. I know you've been asked on social media all the time, please like, please share. But with Scottie Mcclue, it's different to anything else on the internet. Please like and share big time. Don't give up until you have shared and shared and shared and shared and shared. Shared and shared and shared and shared. Right, I've got all these pages. I've got Dinky Doo, I've got Scottie Mcclue, all that sort of idea. I once had a guy on Facebook, he says, you'll never believe this, guys. He comes on, he goes, I've made up a Scottie Mcclue page on Facebook. But I see you have one. If you post, I will also post on this page for you. Listen, you don't know a half of it, folks. I don't know where to start. I was at Blackpool year after year, and me hen, I was wee. I thought cartoon postcards were very naughty indeed. Listen, even when you're not wee, Gordon, they're naughty indeed. Pink is my fave too, Kareem, says Gordon Robertson. There you go. We've got a wee click there, I think. Thank you, Catherine. It's next Friday I leave. Wonderful, Kareem. You take great care of yourself. But you will love the Gelt Woods. Just be careful, though, because there's a very steep bit down to the river. But I think you'll find you'll enjoy yourself. It might be a wee bit muddy, so take your wellies, Kareem, or your hiking boots. I know you're used to hiking. So there we go. Anybody else do a bit of hiking? Right, we're on to the Scottie Mcclue group now, guys, it looks, to be honest with you. So get on there as well. There it is. Fantastic. And we've shared there. Live now. Well, I forgot to put live now in the first bit, but people will know. Live now. That says love now. Live now, okay, and that's gone off to the Scottie Mcclue fan group, of which you should all be members. There's about 3,000 on there. I'll be back off to share. Could you all stop talking till I get back? Yes, we'll not put on the 10 o'clock news till I come down. Are the figures still steadily increasing, Scotty? Craig Cochrane, they are. I was quite delighted. I get a wee bit down with the subscribers. We need more and more subscribing all the time. So if you know anybody, just say, just subscribe, do what you're told. And there's a subscribe button there, because some people might look around. I know what folk are like. Sometimes you get a sunshine sale that goes, well, I was going to subscribe. I couldn't see the button. You know, I remember an MP, this is a few years ago, it was an MP going, I can't work it out. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was telling him to click the icon. Can't see the icon. All that kind of stuff, getting shirty, you know what I mean? I used gel things for making stock for soup. I need to use them because most of the cubes contain celery. And I'm very allergic to celery. Now, Gordon, I've never heard of anybody allergic to celery or to sort of more the vegetable stuff. You know, I've heard of people obviously allergic to nuts and that stuff, but that's very interesting. Mind you, I think you do not get people allergic to tomatoes. I suppose you can be allergic to anything. So if you had a piece of celery, you would swell up, Gordon. I'm going to Finnefort for my holidays, says Rogers. Finfort dispute. I think you mean Finnefort on the way to Iona, do you? Is that is the one, or is it Findhorn? Do we not all fancy Thomas Spidden, says Gordon Robertson. There, Thomas, Gordon's thrown down the gauntlet. Are you not fancied by everyone? There we are, man, women, people identifying as, I don't know. Roger says, I know someone who fancies Thomas. Roger, safe journey, says Kareem. Scotty, resume $15 a month. One person becomes administrator. This allows up to 40 people for unlimited call time. Yes, so that's just about us. We're just some nights touching the 40. Tonight I'd like to go over the 40. There we are. But I do notice when I see who has watched the stream, 350, 400, that sort of thing. Very interesting. Scotty, have you ever heard of the Findhorn Foundation in Murray? It's a spiritual community. I know it, Eddie Doyle. And I know Findhorn. Yes, a year ago, about now, I was having supper in Findhorn. Lovely. In the hotel there, it's very beautiful. Celery, mustard seeds, anything really, Sack and Ollie. Sack and Ollie, do you get a problem with the celery? Tell us what happens out of interest so that people know this is real, genuine education. Scotty, it's true about the new star sign. It phonetically sounds like Orpheus from the Matrix. Well, a new star sign. So Roger says he's allergic to, I'll say wheat, Roger. I won't use so you're allergic to wheat bangs. Well, that might mean you're celiac. So there we are. Catherine, have you swallowed a dictionary? Two big words for me. Davy Young, you get the lot on here. Go with the flow. Very, very interesting. Go with the flow. I say, go with anti-flow. Hi, Davy. I used to be allergic to women, but I got over it when I married Mrs. Mac. Always remember one of the funny, I used to do a show on Radio 4th on a Sunday morning. Wonderful. And we were doing some publicity shots, and we got permission to go to the battlements in Edinburgh Castle and do the shots. And it was fantastic. And we're up there, and one of the DJs, who's a very, very nice man, very funny man, and he got a fit of the sneezies. And he got a fit of the sneezies, and he was giving it, and all the rest of it. Someone said, oh, are you all right? He went, I may be allergic to battlements. Great fun. We like all that. Catherine, I'm a typical Virgo. I don't want to move to a Leo. Ah, Kareem, you're a Virgo. Absolutely. I used to... Hi, Roger. No, it's Finnport, says Roger. Where's that, Roger? You need to tell us more. I went to Finnport for my stag do and ended up single the next day. Wild. I haven't got any allergies, thankfully, says Zach and Ollie. Sometimes we don't know if we've got allergies. It's quite interesting. We just can't eat a certain thing. With Zoom, you need to watch out for Zoom bombing, folks joining and being naughty. Well, there must be. We must be able to secure it, the Gordon. Yeah, and we know you're not naughty. I'm allergic to ex-wives. Every time I'm near one, my pocket's empty. Yes. I don't read astrology as God's word doesn't approve. But Eddie Doyle, it might not be God's word. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Nobody has ever actually said astrology is God's work, but perhaps the planets he created, the interpretation of their proximity might well be God's work. We don't know. So there you are. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Mac. Hope you guys are well, says Catherine. My beautiful girlfriend has a body like a Greek statue. Completely pale and no arms, says Craig. Finnport is in still game, says Jonas. Ah, is it near Craig Lang? I have hay fever, Scotty, says Glenn. Ooh, right, Glenn. Well, there you are. Maybe you're allergic to Thomas. We don't know. When I say astrology, I don't read star signs, Scotty, says Eddie. Ah, right. Fair enough, Eddie. You don't have to. Nobody minds. Glenn, take paracetamol. They work a treat, says Roger. I don't know, is this tried and tested, Roger? I wouldn't like to give out that advice until we've checked. Got a still game mass today, logo on it. Jack and Victor's favourite gag. Bobby, 2 pints. And then what they say. Astrology came from Einstein when he started studying the stars. No, astrology was in long before that. Nostradamus was an astrologer, wasn't he? Galileo. So I don't think it was Einstein. No, the astrology was around long before Einstein. Chris, all that matters is you're here now, bud. Welcome, says Roger. Absolutely, Roger. Good point. Guys, Scotty, sorry for being late, says the wonderful Chris Wilmot. Chris, as you know, there's no sanctions or punishment. You've suffered enough from missing a moment of Mcclue. We're very glad you're back with us, though. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So there we are. Is Catherine and Kareem an items, Roger? Not to their knowledge, I shouldn't think. And certainly not to mine. Cosmic Wheels, says the wonderful Alistair Campbell. Alistair, thank you for your generosity earlier. Alistair tapped the $1. I was late, says Finlay Morris. Yes, but you're here, Finlay, and you've suffered enough. Hi, Finlay, says Roger. Welcome. So there you are. Sad news about Maurice Reeves, Scotty, a fine actor, an outstanding actor. Yes, indeed, Chris. Yes, indeed. Very, very much so. Wonderful guy. Yes, fantastic. When I think about it, I can see him right now. All the characters he played. Is Eddie still partnered with Maria? Well, we don't know, Roger. Who are you partnered with for tonight? Hope you're well, Finlay, says Roger. Dinky do. Everybody's saying dinky do to everybody else. Oh, by the way, Thomas and Finlay, you will see that John Marshall is released, and you will see that Limesman, John Boy Limesman, is released. So I want no more lip from anybody, please. And no more calling me a tyrant. Hope you're well, Finlay, says everybody. Right, guys, more sharing. We need to share. Wonderful. Right, there we go. Now then. That's that. We'll share with this. All takes a wee while, doesn't it? It's a great skill. Right, I'm just going to do a bit of sharing. Can you all do the same? Share, share, share-ity, share-ity, share. Share-ity, share, share, share. Right, there we go. Okay. That's that. Fantastic. And I wanted to know my thoughts. That's my thoughts in a nutshell. Right, that's wonderful. So if you can all do a bit of sharing, guys, that would be Triff. Absolutely Triff. I knew somebody called Triff once. Don't know what it's short for. Hi, Finlay, says Thomas. Thomas, what about that? Have you said thank you for releasing your pals? Scotty, are you a Rosie Lee man or do you like a coffee? I haven't had a coffee for 37 years. No, 38 years, I think it is. It's 38 years. Thank you for the safe release, Scotty. Thank you, Finlay. Hope you're well. Thomas, everybody's asking for Thomas. Thomas is back now. Are you back home, Thomas? Are you with us? I say, guys, can you believe we've been on for 50 minutes? So there we are. So they're released. So I would send them a text and tell them to get back on here, but no cheeking up. Have they learned their lesson? I would say. Right. Let's get on here. Oh, this is wonderful. Never a dull moment, I say. I saw a picture before, Scotty, of a Luftwaffe reconnaissance photograph of Springburn showing the St. Rollox locomotive works, I believe from 1943. Incredibly interesting. Very, very interesting. And of course, although they were on the other side to us at the time, very brave for a reconnaissance plane to fly over Glasgow from Germany. Gordon Robertson has started to enjoy those iced coffees that you can buy in the shops. Are they in a can, Gordon? I know for a while you could get iced tea in a can. Very, very interesting. So just doing a bit of sharing, guys, on Scottie Mcclue's LinkedIn. If you're business people, get on there. Roger says he's partnered with Glenn. What, at tennis? So there we are. So tell us more about the iced coffee, Gordon. Has anybody ever had a Gallic coffee? Very nice. I don't do it now because I don't take the alcohol at all. Suppose I could have a Gallic coffee. You know, that sort of idea. But I don't know if you can now. Can you have? No, you see, you wouldn't be able to have a Gallic coffee because you can't drive, can you, with any alcohol? Very brave indeed. I grew up in Springburn. Scotty, I've sent John Marshall Jr. that is released. No reply back yet. Let us know how all that goes, please. John Marshall. So was it Junior? So you've always been free, Feather. Excellent. Well, somebody had cheeked up, unless they'd cloned him. Might have been a clone. A clone, but I don't think so. I think it was just somebody cheeking up, to be absolutely honest with you. Right, here we've got everything on here. So I'll just do a wee bit more sharing. If you can all share, guys, it'd be fantastic. I know it's a bit of a bind, but I think that goes with the territory on social media. And it's not a lot to ask. So there we go. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not a lot to ask. A wee bit of sharing of your listeners. Your loyal listeners, let's have it straight. You've all been extremely loyal to Mcclue, and this will get very big, and I will remember you. And I want you to come on and remind me, because I don't want you saying, you've no time for us now, Scotty, because you're so big. No. That's not how Mcclue works. I've got a friend, I hadn't seen her for 40 years. And she used to listen to the night times, and I think she thought I'd be a wee bit up myself, you know. And she was quite delighted we just hadn't changed at all. 40 years, same chat. Gallic coffee, that would be whiskey in the coffee. I think so, Gordon Robertson, yes. I think an Irish whiskey in the coffee. But there's Does anybody ever, do you ever put brandy in a coffee? I don't know. I don't sort of muck about with these things. Dinky do, Scotty. Wow, one Gaelic coffee made the topic list. I'm up for it. Anita Page in California. How are you, my dear? Lovely, lovely to have you with us. Dinky do. You're having a tough time with the coronavirus. Anita's watching in California, guys. Is that not beautiful? Neil O'Gormley, top man. I'm late on tonight, Scotty. Recovering from a small operation I had today. Still a bit sore at the moment, but I shall recover. Neil O'Gormley, you're a very brave man. You're Scotty's little soldier. Well done, and we send you strength, well-being, all that. Fantastic. Look after yourself. A lot of people are joining us late tonight. Lyon, says Davy Young. Lyon in France. Sorry, says David. Just having a ham sandwich. Oof. Well, I was sure you're going to say there, Glenn. Fantastic. Good for you. Hi, Roger, mate. Dinky do. I should probably stop buying them, Kareem. It's only in the past couple of weeks that I've started buying iced coffees. Tell us more, Gordon. Are they in a tin? Are they in a can, as the Americans say? Is that right, Anita? You say a can? Do you want some fruit from a can? Glenn, would you like to share? Says Roger. Yes, we'll all have a bit of Glenn's ham sanny. So there we are. Dinky doos is the Welly song. The Ruby House is opened for anyone wondering. So you can get yourself a Ruby. Get yourself a wee chick, a Chick Murray. Has anyone tried a martini espresso? Well, I shan't be trying one now, Eddie, because I don't drink. But we'll see. What does James Bond take nowadays? I have a sweet chili on the sandwich, Roger. Glenn, that will be first class. So there we go. Right. I'm just checking about the sharing. Can we get the sharing up and up and up? Glenn, that sounds delicious. I had a Gaelic coffee, beautiful. They put a drop of, and he advertises in it, so there we are. An Irish cream liqueur we'll put in for that, Tony. I'll get you trained yet, you know. Iced coffees can be in cans, sealed cups and bottles, and you get them from coffee shops too. So what have you got, Gordon? A milky coffee that's frozen. What have you had for your tea, Scotty? Oh, Glenn, we're back with the avocado today. Avocado and ham with a little bit of garlic and chili oil. And 2 buttered oat cakes. There we are. Is that not an Irish coffee? Says Catherine. What not an Irish coffee, Catherine? Scotty, did you ever use the MV Kilbrannan at Lochranza, Arran, which operated on the Lochranza Clonig route? I think it operated as a car ferry. I was trying to work out, if you were going to the north of Kintyre, would there be mileage, say you were going from Ayrshire or Renfrewshire, would there be mileage in going to Arran and then getting the ferry from Lochranza to Clonig? Or is that just a long way for a shortcut? See, when I was wee, you could get the Duchess of Hamilton. Et tu, says Roger Baxter. Et tu, Brute. Aha, when the Romans were all going to get a cake. And they were all counted. And Caesar realised that Brutus had had a couple. He said, et tu, Brute. There we are. And well, thank you, says the wonderful Anita Page. Coffee from a can is vacuum packed, so it's truly fresh, but not sure if flavour stays true. So there you are. My old friend from Kenya, he used to say to me, you don't know anything about coffee. Kenya coffee is proper coffee. The stuff you guys are drinking is full of monkey nuts and bird shit. Wonderful. Do you like rice cakes, Scotty? I do, Glenn Peacock. In fact, somebody was telling me, can you get a chocolate rice cake? Very, very interesting. More sharing, guys. So, yes, I'll take a wee rice cake. There's no doubt about that. Right, how's this going? Somebody has seen this already. I love this. I put this up on social media and people go bananas for it. Oh, look, Scottie Mcclue's on. So there you are. So Thomas Peden, I just don't rate what he was saying, that people in the train carriage were moving out. Did Roger not mean that he ate too? I think so, but I don't think Caesar said ate too bruty, did he, Gordon Robertson? You'll know because you are a classicist. You're a classicist. Has anyone tried duck fart, says Craig. No, there's a little luxury we've all denied ourselves, Craig. Tell us more. I suspect the predictive text has got you. Eddie Doyle, here we go. Scotty, do you like haggis? My niece made haggis sausage rolls. They were yummy. Haggis can be absolutely delightful. I remember in a restaurant having haggis balls. So there we are. Yes. No, not a condition. I'm going to purchase some coconut milk tomorrow, says Finlay Morris. I never ate two of anything, says Gordon. Well, when were we? We didn't really have two of anything. Anthony says, I visited the beautiful village of Carmunnock, just beyond Castle Milk or Chateau Olay in French. My dad used to take me there as a wee boy, just beyond the Cathkin Braes. Yes, and Castle Milk's very nice as well. I don't like when people try to put places down when they don't know them. There's a lovely park at Castle Milk, between Castle Milk and Carmunnock. So there we are. But is that part of the Cathkin Braes? Hello, Scotty. I'm back. My fish pie had cod, salmon, and prawns in it. Delicious. G-Dog, wonderful. Fresh fish pie. Very, very nice. Scotty boy, do you enjoy an Indian takeaway? I do scran one. I enjoy it very much indeed. So there we go. And it's a shot, Craig will not go into all that. Irish cream and whiskey. So there we are. Fantastic, right? All right, Craig, I see. More sharing, guys, please. Share, sharity, share. Sharity, share. Now, that's us just at the hour, just over the hour. Do we leave it there or do we press on? Are you enjoying yourself? I ask you. Very important. It's entirely up to my beautiful streamers. There we go. Fantastic. Right. That's doing its stuff. That's something that we've shared that's definitely doing its stuff. What else we got here? Carmunnock is the only one of the Glasgow villages that has not been engulfed into the conurbation. No, but it must be relatively close to East Kilbride, to Stewartfield over the back, and relatively close to Cathcart, to Castle Milk, to, what's the other wee village that goes up the other side? Thornton Hall, is it? That's Busby. All these places, Gordon Robertson. I've been doing some streaming stuff for you, J-Dog Gaming. That is very good of you. And above and beyond the call of duty. I thank you, sir. Excellent. Very, very kind. COVID-19 brought the restrictions. People say, I wish it was all over. The truth shall set you free. Allow Jesus into every part of your life. COVID-19 has brought restrictions. Jesus offers freedom. Fantastic, John. So you're a Christian man. Excellent. Hi, pal. My taxi driver wasn't a fan of yours, Scotty. Thomas, all taxi drivers are a fan of mine. What they didn't like was I told them the truth. Remember that all my fans either love me or hate me, but they always listen. And from what you tell me there, the taxi driver knew who I was. Does that not speak volumes? There you go, Tom. So there you go. They used to phone up to tell me they hated me. Yes, I don't like the girl's voice, Davey, for your poems. But your Scottie Mcclue one, maybe you can Skype and tell Scottie your poem, seeing as you didn't get to finish your story on Nation Radio. Absolutely, yes, indeed. Press on, Scottie, says John Marshall. Right, John? There it goes. John Marshall says, continue with tonight's stream. What does everybody else say? I am absolutely deliriously happy either way. So there we go. Joke. If a man gets an op and gets and he asks about a certain part of his anatomy removed, is he only half a man? Is he only half the man he used to be? Oh, no. Davy Young, not particularly good joke, really, to be honest with you, because, I mean, obviously the reasons one would have that happen are not particularly good, but very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And no, you wouldn't, because you could have, in the old days, people that surrounded the Queen had a wee op, and they were known as eunuchs. I think they'd had eunuch. Keep right on to the end of the show to paraphrase Sir Harry Lauder. Sir Harry Lauder. It's funny, you know, when I look back at Lauder's humour, he was there, you know, and he'd say, I get engaged today. I'll show you the ring. I've got it somewhere here. At least I hope I've got it. I've paid for it. All that stuff. And people would be falling about laughing. Keep going. You never get too much of McClure, says Tony. Any interesting stories about Castle Milk, Scottie, says Scran One. Well, just it's a very, very nice place full of lovely people. So there we go. Who a lot of them have had to put up with quite a lot of being shepherded here and shepherded there over the years. You know? Good Glasgow folk. So there we are. Keep going. You never get too much. Press on. Skype, says Davy Young. 23 weeks till Christmas Day. Let the countdown begin. Kareem, what are you at? It's really only Castlemilk which is almost joined to Kilmarnock. The other places you mentioned aren't a million miles away, though. Not a million miles. And I suppose if you went over the hill from Kilmarnock, what would you get? Well, you see, can you not take a shortcut into Cambuslang from there at the bottom of the Braes, stuff like that? The halfway. Are you familiar with the halfway? Overtime, go for it, Scottie. Alistair Campbell, you're very kind and very generous. I will mention again, Alistair Campbell, folks, tapped the dollar bill and sent me £2. He's a gentleman. Scottie, J-Dog's edited clips of the faces you pull. They're so funny and put you in a good light. You have to check it out, Scottie. He's an amazing editor. Very, very clever young man, Catherine Raven. We have seen this. Scottie, have you ever visited the Tunnocks factory in Uddingston? Very much so. I know the Tunnocks. There's a famous photo of Mr. Tunnock who gave me some pies. It was wonderful. And I visited the lovely people that run the factory as well. John Marshall Jr. isn't released. His comments aren't showing, Scottie. Well, Thomas, John Marshall is definitely released. So if it's not Youngster, is it Feather? But there you go. 30 on Christmas Day, I want Glenn to be my stripogram, says Thomas Peden. I knew you had a soft spot for him, Thomas. Do you think Jack the Ripper was the Queen Victoria's doctor trying to find a cure for the Queen? The documentary, I watched it. There's been documentaries over the years about Jack the Ripper. And somebody even thought it was Queen Victoria's grandson. Edward VII and Queen Alexandra had two boys. They had Eddie and George. And Eddie was Edward, Duke of Clarence. And he died quite young. I don't know what it was that he got, but he died quite young. And I think he was on the other bus as well, but he was engaged to Princess Mary of Teck, to May. and became Queen Mary. So what actually happened was when the Duke of Clarence died and Alexander was heartbroken. When Eddie died, George was then in line for the throne. So he was the younger brother. And George married his dead brother's fiancée. Interesting. And she became Queen Mary and the matriarch of our present family, the Queen's grandmother. Gordon, I like Castlemilk, but the area needs a big supermarket and a petrol station. It would make a mint. Quite right, Kareem, you're very, very wise with your business. Although just at the bottom of the big boulevard down to Castlemilk, I suppose a continuation of the bypass or whatever. When you get down there, is there not a garage there, Kareem? I can't remember. Maybe not. No, perhaps not, because I was looking for fuel one night when I was coming back from the East End via that route, and I came up the Castlemilk bypass. So there we are. Very, very interesting. You're working class when your TV is bigger than your bookcase. That's it, Craig. Thomas, your taxi must be jealous of Scottie. Yes. Every taxi driver knows Mcclue. And they love Mcclue, even if they hate him. Do you see what I mean? I wonder if there was a castle in Castlemilk. Yes, there was, very much so. Hence Castlemilk. You see, all round Glasgow, Anthony, was big, big houses. So where Glasgow University is, prior to 1847 or 1857, I can't remember, when you had very, very famous architect, what was his name again now? He did Liverpool, his son did Liverpool Cathedral and Battersea Power Station. And it'll come back to me. And I think it's a hyphenated name. And prior to that, Glasgow University is built on Gilmore Hill. And before that, there was Gilmore Hill House. Do you see? And then, so Glasgow's all big country estates. Garscube Estate is now the Veterinary College. And I think there's the Beatson there as well. Garscube, Campbell of Garscube. Garscube House was only knocked down in 1962, I think. Huge, beautiful, beautiful property. And Jordan Hill College in the grounds at Jordan Hill there, that was Jordan Hill House. Bella Houston Park, where you've got the house for an art lover, and you've got the dry ski slope, if it's still there, and all that. That had Bella Houston House. So do you see what was going on? Mary Hill House. There would be big, there wouldn't be, Mary Hill was the daughter of a mine owner, so there was another big mansion that they would stay in Mary Hill. And then you had, I think, the Provost's house, Bailey Cleland in Mary Hill. Gordon Robertson, help! Help Mcclue out. Where's Gordon Robertson when you need him? Techno steak bake, meat pie, sausage roll. Come on, man, you, says Scran. Young John is not really Scottie. This is his father. Well, I wonder if you were in the pokey as well, John Marshall, and I let you out this morning. The hokey cokey. Give us a goal, says Techno Steak Bake. Right, Techno Steak Bake? I want you to grow up into a fantastic person. There's your goal. Okay, cookie. I used to go to the Barras and buy big bags of caramel wafers, misshaped, etc., for £1. Gordon Robertson, yes, broken biscuits were very popular. Scottie, do you know much about Calderwood Castle near Calderglen Country Park? I don't know a lot about it, but I remember thinking I might buy it because it was on the market for £50,000 about 30 years ago. About 35 years ago, I think. Scottie, do you hate the Huns, Scran? I do not hate at all anyone, even the very, 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 very bad man who managed to wheedle my life savings out of me, a convicted fraudster, I later found out. So there you go. And I don't hate, because if you hate, it will break you apart and you're shutting off an avenue of learning. So that's one of the reasons I would be no good with Glasgow football, because I don't hate, you see? And I would urge everyone else in the planet not to hate. You can have a dislike for a reason, but you've got to have worked out why. Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Good question, Scran. Thomas, ask Scotty to do a live gig on your birthday. Some stand-up comedy or some organ or piano playing. Yes, is Thomas good at the stand-up comedy? And you keep referring to the other bus. What's its destination? Well, Gordon Robertson, I think anybody who's on it will no doubt find out when it gets there. So there we are. All I know is it's going in a different direction from the other bus. Interesting, thank you. I'll have to read up on all that. Do Davy, yes, I couldn't tell you. I would imagine Calder Glen, at one point there would be a Calder family. Also, if you go out the Stewartfield Road, past a well-known supermarket and petrol station, you will see a little loch to your left. Don't look, because the road's dangerous and you need to keep your eyes on the road. On the other side of the loch is a little castle called Mains Castle in East Kilbride. It's very ancient, and I think it was the early 70s. It was bought by a gentleman who was of a very famous shopkeeping family of one of the big stores in Glasgow, and it was restored. Isn't that beautiful? So it's a classic little keep. Mains Castle, East Kilbride, and the Loch. Scotty, do you enjoy a munchie box? Scran one, somebody asked me this last night. It depends what's in it. Now, you can't just eat the box. So there you are. Scotty, do you, says Techno Steak Bake. Do I what, Techno Steak Bake? There's a garage at the bottom of Castlemilk Road into Croft Foot. So there you are, says Kareem. Well, Kareem will not say about that. A good supermarket petrol station would do well in the local area. Well, if you drive, Kareem, then you would only be a hop step to the big superstore I was telling you about near Stewartfield in East Kilbride. Would you not? Scotty, would you win? Or who would win, you or Techno Steak Bake? I don't know, Techno. We don't do names on here. So we'll just take that out. Depends what you're doing. I don't know who these people are. The driver called you a P word that rhymes with another word. I told him not to cheek up about my big mate. Yeah, but that's just a figure of speech from a very, very, very ignorant man, Thomas Baden. I've got a friend that drives a taxi, and he used to be a film editor. It was fantastic. And he had an American that said, "This must get very boring for you." And he said, "I'm sorry, excuse me." He said, "It's driving a taxi, doing the same thing all day." He said, "No, I actually enjoy it." He said, "I enjoy it more than my last job." "Well, what did you do before? Because you guys don't have many brains." He said, "Oh, I was a film editor." Love it. Well, that was a very ignorant driver you got. Bad luck, Tam. I hope you didn't pay him too much. Scotty, is Tillytootlam Castle above Old Lanark? I've been asked to question. I don't know, says Alistair Campbell. There's a lot of hidden history out in Old Lanark, I tell you. Castle Dangerous. Now, Castle Dangerous, I think, was Douglas Castle. I think. Castle Dangerous is the March Past pipe tune of the Cameronians. And the Cameronians were raised in Douglas by the Reverend Richard Cameron. And if you think of the old A74 just at Douglas. There used to be a petrol station there. I think it still is. I think there's still a stop. And the old A74, at the bottom were great big locked green gates. And they were the gates into the Douglas and Angus estate. And Douglas Castle was a great big 4-towered castellated mansion, only knocked down, I don't know, in the 30s maybe. And I think one of the towers still stands. And I think in the grounds of that are Castle Dangerous. Am I right? Does anybody know? Can you help out? The Beatsons within the Garten Naval grounds. Ah, yes, indeed. Right, Gordon, got you now. So it'll not be, yes, it will be a bit away. Yes, you're right. So I didn't, so up near this is the veterinary college. Gordon, I thought the Beatson had a place there as well, but I must have got that mixed up. Scottie, can you do a dance? Gran, I am a professional dancer, a Bengal dancer. I lived in Somerston in Maryhill, Scottie. Yes, well, you see, Somerston, at one point, there was probably Somerston House. Eddie, who did the taxi driver call that to, Thomas? That's bang out of order. Glad you stuck up for Scottie. Absolutely, Glenn. So there you go. I've never been in the pokey in my life. No, John Marshall. The virtual hokey pokey on here. It's what we're talking about. There we are. Virtual. You were in virtual jail. You're a bundle of knowledge, Scottie. What you don't know isn't worth knowing. My dad was the very same. You could ask him anything, and he'd tell you in detail. He used to say, even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Well, my grandfather used to say, well, I'm not often wrong, but I was right that time. Oh, that's lush. There we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thomas Speeden says, myself and John Marshall Jr. have played the Battlelands Ballroom. We're international superstars. I've heard you, Thomas. I thought you were awfully good. Greenan Castle in Ayr was up for sale for £20,000 30 years ago. Only if I were rich. Davy Young, why would you want a castle? Right? Think about it. I used to look at that. I've stayed in castles. I've been invited to castles. They're not comfortable. Right? You're better with a wee house, a nice wee council flat. And in the winter, when people are frozen in their own house, the windows are running with condensation at your granny's. There we are. I think Kilmorey Castle in Argyll, which is the headquarters of Argyll and Bute District Council, I'm pretty sure, at one point it was 12k. I mean, Buckingham Palace sold for 5k. That was 5k. That was bought for 5k from the Duke of Buckingham. Always love finding out about how places get their names. I grew up in the Gorbals and wonder how it got its name. Great people come from the Gorbals despite its reputation of being rough. Tony, anywhere has got areas that have a reputation of being rough. You've only got to watch one of the great musicals, like My Fair Lady, based on George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion. And that wonderful one with Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison and the lovely old Wilfred Hyde White and all that sort of stuff. And it's superb. It's absolutely outstanding. And I'll tell you also, the guy that plays the Doolittle, Eliza's father, is great actor. And he used to do a great old music hall actor. He used to do Albert with his horse's head handle and all these. What was his name again? Stanley Holloway. Stanley Holloway. He was in My Fair Lady. Came out in 1956. Fantastic. And you'll have seen it many times. And taking Eliza as a poor flower girl from the East End of London, right? selling her flowers at Covent Garden and all that, and passing her off as a duchess. So, I mean, I think anybody should be very, very proud of where they come from. I'll give you an example. You say you're from the Gorbals. There was a little boy from the Gorbals, and he opened up a shop selling ham and butter. And then he found out he was able to have another shop. And then he found out he could buy tea and packet it and sell it. And he sold stuff at very reasonable prices because he knew people didn't have the money. And people loved it, so they got their ham, their butter, their cheese, and their tea from this guy's shop. And he made his shop very brightly lit. So it was a nice place to go for people who the world had bypassed and didn't give them much of a chance. They didn't have money. And some of them were rough people. They were poor immigrants that come in from Ireland, the time of the famine, things like that. So they didn't have the money, but he set up his shop, and people were able to eat because of him. They were able to afford bacon and ham and cheese and eggs and milk and butter and tea. And I would imagine he did bread as well. And he opened more and more shops, and everybody loved him, and he became very, 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 very wealthy. And on the south side of Glasgow, just outside the Gorbals, just along by Crown Street and places like that, you've got the necropolis, the southern necropolis, Glasgow's City of the Dead. And I think he's buried there. And he made absolutely millions in the late Victorian and early Edwardian times. And he was a friend of the king, Edward VII. And he used to race sailing yachts in the America's Cup. And his name, you'll have got it, you'll be ahead of me, Tommy Lipton. Sir Thomas Lipton, Lipton's tea. He was from the Gorbals, Tony. Does that tell you its own story? Lovely, lovely. Are you close to finishing setting up the server we were talking about? I haven't, J-Dog, looked at it yet. You must think I'm terrible. Terrible old guy. Scotty, what clip will you play tonight? Well, Kareem, there's been a lot of requests for Mr. Martin too. So there you are, the second night. You're talking about the Hamilton Mausoleum last night. Did you know there's now a big fence around it because of the dafties graffitiing and vandalizing it? Shocking. So sad. You used to be able to just walk there anytime. Why do the dafties, I suppose they get high on drugs. And these are blights on life. It's so sad. We need to get our young people away from that way of life. Just that kind of hopeless way of life that they need to graffiti these things. You know, they ruin the only assets that their life has got. They're damaging their own environment. It's crazy stuff. So you can't get into it now, or you'd maybe have to, but you used to just walk up to it. It was brilliant. But then, you see, I can remember as a youngster, I used to get taken to London by my parents, and you could just walk up and down Downing Street. The policeman at the door of number 10 nodded. "Oh, sir. All right, sir. Nice to see you." Hating stops you living in the here and now. Best revenge to people who do you a bad turn is to carry on and enjoy your life, or they win and you're left wallowing and missing out. Be mindful, kind, happy. Absolutely. And the person, Catherine, who has done you a bad turn, we want them to live in the best of health for as long a life as possible, so they have to live with themselves. Yes, now you are talking. I agree that when you hate, it hurts you more than them. I've just discovered Catherine Cookson, The Wingless Bird, film on YouTube. Are you familiar with her as an author? Very, very much so. The Glass Virgin, The Man Who Cried. Catherine Cookson, fantastic. She went down south and she was amazed. She was from Newcastle. And she went down south and she was amazed at the standard of living, how well the people looked in southern England compared with how gaunt and thin her own Geordies were, you know. And I can remember taking shows in Newcastle and talking to a Geordie about how wonderful the people were, although they were poor. And he was quite defensive. He went, well, no, I mean, they're not poor. The children want for nothing in Newcastle, you know, and and they look after their families. And, I thought, whoa, he's picked me up wrong. Have you ever done that? You get into a discussion and somebody starts on you, they pick you up wrong, and you just have to bail out. You know what I mean? You have to bail out. My wee cat Zappa went missing in Castlemilk. Did you get her back, Scran? That's important. So the Wingless Bird. So Anita, there's so many Catherine Cooksons for you to enjoy. They are wonderful. And they used to be on here on a Sunday afternoon. I think Tyne Tees Television made a lot of the programs about Catherine Cookson. It was one of our ITV companies. Fantastic. Super company. Tyne Tees, man. There you are. Craig, we were talking about that. I was fascinated by the history and what Scottie said about the lions. Oh, the lions are beautiful. 2 great big lions, life-size, and one is asleep and the other's fully awake. And I just thought, when the human beings turn away from the mausoleum at night, the other lion goes to sleep and the other one wakes up. I don't know why I say this, guys. I must be septic. I'm psychic. Yes, there you go. Scottie is the Lord of the Internet, says the wonderful Glenn Peacock. Thank you, Glenn. When I next stream next week, I'll hopefully be multi-streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Clever man, J-Dog. Absolutely. And I'm not going to pry, but did you manage to get that without coughing up pennies? I'm back, Scottie, says the wonderful Stephen Douglas. Did you have a nice walk, Stephen? Tremendous. I agree, Gordon. I look forward to the show all day. I've given everything I used to do to catch the Lord of the Internet class streaming. Catherine Raven, bless you and thank you. And thank you for all your wonderful support and all your different things that you say, your superb input. To all of you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everybody who taps the dollar. Thank you. Thank you to people who go to GoFundMe. Thank you. Thank you to people who go to paypal.me/Scottie Mcclue. Thank you. It's so much all appreciated because I'm trying to build up a stream and I can use the pennies to do little bits of promotion, to buy equipment, that sort of stuff, because obviously my pennies ran out when I got hit by the fraudster. 3 weeks ago, I think. So there we are. Fantastic. Dinky-doo, Scottie, and everyone. Scottie, are you a lord of the... How are you a lord of the Internet? I'm not a lord of the Internet, Scran. I am the first lord of the Internet. So there you are, the lord of the Internet, not a lord of the Internet. There aren't any other lords of the Internet. There's the first lord of the Internet. What tea bags do you like, Scottie, says Eddie Doyle. I'll tell you, Eddie, I've gone on to, I like, I better not do an advert, but I like a tea that comes from Yorkshire. I like that, and they do a special brand, which is gold, but I don't buy that, but I buy the tea that comes from Yorkshire, and I also buy Fair Trade Earl Grey, because somebody gave me a cup of Earl Grey. I've got it here. They gave it to me one morning for my first cup when I went to work and they said, would you like a cup of tea? I said, yeah, I think I've got some tea bags somewhere. And they said, no, I'll give you, is Earl Grey all right for you? So, yes. And I tasted it, I thought, now, you're talking my language. That and a ginger nut when you're just at your work, or a digestive, or a rich tea. So there we are. Are we doing the hokey cokey? I'm up on my feet. I'm ready. No, Gordon Robertson. You've got to remember, I had an obsession with the hokey cokey. And I went to the doctor and he said, I know of a clinic. We'll admit you to cure you of your obsession with the hokey cokey. So I put myself in. I put my whole self in. And I took myself out, and I've turned myself around, and that's what it's all about. So there we are. Wonderful stuff. I'm up on my feet. We're ready. The hokey cokey. No, Scotty, it wasn't me and the virtual pokey either. Well, John Myers, whoever it was, John Marshall. Sorry, John Myers. John Myers was a dear old friend of mine who sadly died last year. No, John Marshall. I released a John Marshall today, but I think he had a pink photo. So there we go. I think so. It just goes to show that this podcast going from strength to strength, says Glenn. Strength, Scotty couldn't read all the messages out last night, could you? Glenn, I had to abandon halfway through. Incredible. The hokey pokey is a dance for pre-teen children. Perhaps the original meaning of the term has been forgotten. What is the original meaning, Anita Page? I tell you why I ask. Because the hokey cokey caused a huge stushy about, maybe 15 years ago, because people thought it may have originated sending up the Catholic Church. And when the priest prostrated themselves before God, threw themselves flat on the ground, or sank to their knees in prayer, people thought that there was hokey, cokey, cokey, and they thought it was a send-up. I don't hold with that, and I don't think it was. And there was talk of banning the hokey cokey, which would have been quite absurd, because if you ever go to a charity ball, very often the MC will get everybody up doing the hokey cokey just as an icebreaker. You put your whole self in. So there we are. That sort of idea. Catherine, is it true that a lot of people believe that about the lion's closing eyes? No, Craig, I made that up. That's a McClueism, what we call a McClueism. One lion has its eyes closed, the other has its eyes fully open and is watching. I feel, although they're solid stone, there is no basis in fact for this. I felt when I was there it was very spiritual. And I told you that the medium got absolutely spooked. Even though there are no remains of any Dukes of Hamilton's left in the mausoleum, to my knowledge. So there you are. Yes, preteen children, the hokey pokey. And Anita, is that the one you put your whole self in, your right hand in, your right hand out, left hand in, your left hand out, left hand in, and shake it all about? So that sort of idea. Stanley Holloway came out in 1956. So was he on the other bus? I don't know his transport arrangements, Gordon, but I would have assumed so. And very, very brave to do that in 1956, because am I not right in thinking that it was still out with the law? I don't like to say against the law, but out with the law, even for consenting adults. I don't know, Gordon. I don't know if you are up on the law. Post office internet. So there we are. Davey, we can't see that. I'll not mention that after that. You can't slag off a business regardless. Scotty, stay on till late, so there's time for a wee clip and a Skype maybe. Could you please play the music clip Anna did again? Oh, Catherine. Yes, I don't see why not. Shall we have a clip now, guys? Shall we have a clip? Can everybody have a share? We haven't done any sharing. Nobody knows we are on. This is the best kept secret on the internet, guys. We need to share. Sorry to be always nipping at your head, but we have to. We have to share. Right, let's see what we've got here for you. I'll have a look, see if we can get that clip, Catherine. We can have that plus another clip, you know. It's not the end of the world. And there we go. I'll see if I can get something going here. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to find it, but I might. So there we are. Let's try this. See what comes up. Whoa. This is quite difficult. Now, I don't know if we've got it. Mark, that's the problem. Can anybody remember? I wonder. Let's just see if this might be it, but I don't know. It's very difficult to find this one. Right, I'm going to get you a clip though, guys. We'll get you a clip for tonight. Sure does tell its own story. What do we got here? Sure does tell its own story. Thomas Lipton is a great man like your good self. So, Anthony, were you ahead of me? Did you know who I was referring to? And at what point? So there we are. That one. I don't know that it's this one, guys. This is very, very difficult. Very difficult. So there we are. I don't know. I do not know. No, I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's that one, guys. Let me try again. All right, I'll do this and see if this comes up with anything. I need to get into all my stuff and start to sort out. It could be any of these. Could be any of these. Oh my goodness me. It could be any of these. Could be any of these. Right. This is going to be a wee bit difficult. I'll need to sort out because a lot of them have got similar titles. And you see, it's all just kind of come together. It's huge. So there we are. And that's the national phone in. I don't know if it's that one. Right, let's see what's what. Oh. Yeah, what happens when you look up them all? They've all got kind of similar titles on it too. If I think about that. This one looks like... Here's one of the old Yorkshire phone-ins. Glenn will like this, guys, and so will you. I'm quite sure. We'll have a little bit of that. So, let's do this. Technically, there you go. There's the sound you'll all be familiar with by now, I would say. So, and we'll have a little bit of... See if we get somebody on here.
Took away government as being ultimate authorities over England.
Right, this is quite interesting.
I think I said like a week
Is that too
ago.
loud?
I think we took away government as being ultimate authorities over England, and we changed that for something else.
Well, the government isn't actually the ultimate authority over England. The monarch is the ultimate authority. This is the whole problem that I think politicians miss out on. You know, they're so busy trying to sneak in by the back door and make this place a republic so that one of them can be the president, that they're missing the point that they are only there under the sufferance of Her Majesty the Queen. They are Her Majesty's government and Her Majesty's opposition, and the monarch is the ultimate power of the United Kingdom. The monarch has the power to make or change the law.
So you're saying that Queen still has the power now to overthrow government?
Yes, the Queen could shut the government down tonight and invite somebody. The Queen could invite somebody else to form a government. That's all she need to do. She need to say, we need a change of government, and I invite so-and-so to form a government. And then the Prime Minister would have to go and, hand in his letters of warrant. Yeah. And then the new Prime Minister would go and kiss hands with the Queen.
Yeah.
And that would be it done, sorted.
Yeah.
But we don't do it that way because we also include the people in it, and we therefore have a general election.
Yeah.
So they need to call a general election if you wanted to change of government, and the people could then, at the ballot box, decide, right? Yeah. But I mean, that's what we do in a democracy. But then, once the people had decided, the Queen, the monarch, would have the ultimate say and say, right, well, it looks like the nation want this person, so I will invite them to form a government.
Yeah, doesn't it annoy you a bit, Scotty? Doesn't it annoy you that the Queen doesn't do more? That she doesn't do more to change things?
Well, she does. I mean, the Queen, nothing can become an act of Parliament. You can put as many bills through as you like, and both houses can vote on them, right?
Yeah.
But nothing can become an act of Parliament until it has what is known as the Royal Assent, ASSENT, and that is the Queen's signature on the bill, which then makes it an act of Parliament. So nothing can go through without the Queen's say-so.
Yeah.
You know, we need to make sure, we need to really remind Parliament of the power of the monarch, because prior to constitutional monarchy, which is what we have now, in other words, we are ruled by a constitution, which is carried out by Her Majesty's government and Her Majesty's opposition. Prior to that, we had an absolute monarchy in which the power of the monarch was absolute and did not include the say of the people or of Parliament.
Yeah.
Can you see? So in actual fact, when the King said, I want this done, then that was what happened right away.
Yeah, I think something there, Scotty, something which I would love to see. I'd love to see people who've got the real courage, like to really set up, and like what he did, Oliver Cromwell, and people really want to set up a brand new set of situation.
No, Peter, Oliver Cromwell was an absolute disaster, right? We actually put a monarch to death. We divided Charles I into a head and a body. And the people that put him to death were so cowardly, they couldn't bring themselves to do it at the time. And they did it, I think, at 2:00 in the afternoon. I think it was a Saturday afternoon. And that was when the famous phrase came in, he nothing commended or mean upon that memorable scene. And he wore an extra shirt so that he didn't want people to see him shiver with the cold in case they thought he was frightened. And they hanged him for no reason. They hanged Charles I. They then had this Cromwell who did immense damage to the fabric of this country. And then once they spent that force and realized that republicanism, what was known as the Commonwealth at the time, did not work, they then had a restoration with Charles II, Charles I's son.
Yeah.
Do you see the House of Stuart were put back on the throne, and the House of Stuart remained on the throne until 1714 when Queen Anne died. And this country is a monarchy.
Yeah.
And all this, I love your ideas and everything, but you're very, very poorly informed when it comes to the actual practicalities. That's the way we like it, because that is the fairest source of government and administration that any country has in the world.
Yeah.
And every other country in the world is intensely and immensely jealous of Great Britain.
Yeah, but I think through history, Scotty, there's never ever been any situation where there's been absolute fairness for each and all, and that's what we're all human beings, Scotty. It's not a lot to ask.
Yeah, but there's as much fairness. There's as much fairness in this country by having the monarchy and by having constitutional government than you'll ever get in any other nation. Now, we've tried presidents and dictators and all sorts. We've seen them. They've come to nothing. They've gone to dust.
Yeah.
Right? And in actual fact, what's happening in Europe now was the blueprint drawn up by a gentleman called Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
You see? And that's what's about to happen, was what Hitler actually wanted. A united Germany within a united Europe.
Yeah.
So that's coming to fruition, and we must not surrender our sovereignty, and we must not change our way of government.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a good thing. I can see one perspective about it, Scotty. It's a good thing because it shows. One thing I like about royalty is that it shows a dignity of England. It emphasises the dignity of England.
These people are figureheads, and whatever you think of the actual incumbents, although the Queen is a wonderful incumbent for her office, you must respect the office, because that's what we work on. Just what you've asked for, mutual respect.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you. I can see that dignity. It's I think another perspective on it, Scott, from my view, is it's idealism of what England, what we can all aspire to, what royalty is, showing.
Yes, but you can't aspire to that when you've got political chicanery going on behind closed doors and sovereignty being passed away to Brussels.
Yeah.
The power in this country has to stay with the monarch. It's the monarch that prime ministers come and go. Right? Yeah. We've had one queen since 1953, 50 years. We've had how many prime ministers?
Oh,
can we work it out with Churchill, with Eden, with who was after Eden? Macmillan, Hume, who was after Hume? Wilson, right? Yeah. Who was after Wilson? Heath, Callaghan. Callaghan, Heath, 5, 6, 7. Who was after Thatcher? 8. John Major, 9. Tony Blair, 10. We've had 10 prime ministers and one monarch. Does that not tell you something about which office is more important?
Certainly. I think me, Scotty. I think what I'd love to see. I'd love to see something else which coincides with royalty, right? Which brings a more balanced perspective on the whole spectrum of England. You know what I mean?
But we've got Peter.
Eliminates barriers.
Peter, we've got a very, very balanced perspective.
But it's things what cause barriers.
No, there are no barriers. I don't know where you're getting this barriers from.
Yeah, but like you said, we cannot aspire. Nobody in this country can aspire to the greatest potential because, government, we've got New Labour now making all intercepting situations and trying to throw us into European market and all that. And it's getting worse. And, do you know what I mean, Scotty?
Well, I think what we're doing, we're becoming a substandard nation in terms of productivity, in terms of output. We're no longer the workshop of the world.
And it goes on in that vein, guys. Thank you for putting up with that. But very, very interesting, his philosophy. Of course, I have moved my perspective in Europe because of Brexit. So there you are. I would just like to add that in. Anita Page says, such a wonderful story. Sir Thomas Lipton. My family used to drink Lipton's tea, very popular here in the States. And of course, he loved America. And his funeral back in Glasgow was massive because people genuinely adored him. Bring back national service. That will change kids of today. Learn them respect and manners. Do you think so, Davy Young? I'm confused about these buses, says the wonderful Gordon Robertson. There's only a number 9 comes along my way. So there we are. Gordon. Well, you just have to look for a bus that you think is going right, the whole bit, right the full way, right to the end of the road, as they say. And then you jump on. I've just discovered how luckily I love reading. Anita Page, wonderful. You're a very clever lady. You get into Catherine Cookson. Fantastic. Scotty, you should be named after you. Scotland should be named after you. Scotty Land. Well, it actually was at one point, long before me, the main tribe in Scotland were the Scottie. And it was spelt the same as me, but I think they had an A on the end. So there you are, the Scottie. I loved Catherine Cookson books. I'd make her tell me the story as she went along. She wrote Flowers in the Attic. Then If There Be Thorns, about kids whose mum hides them in the attic. Great books, fantastic. A lot of them about the genuine suffering of ordinary folk in a very tough time. But there we go. Tony says, I think people bully because they are insecure. Well, very often I think they bully because they've been bullied, Tony. They see something in you which they would like to be, correct? I used to feel angry and want to get my own back on my bullies, but I feel sorry for them. Yes, these were poor souls, Tony, and it's tough on anybody who's been bullied. You know what I mean? It is very, very tough on them. I used to stand up to the bully. The bully was chasing you. The trick was to stop and go, come on then. Come on. And the bully usually ran away. Run after the bully. It's very interesting. It's a fight or flight. J-Dog, I did manage to do all this multi-streaming without paying a penny, you clever, talented chap. Very good. Plus Scran, yes, I'm with you on that. I meant my mum read me Flowers in the Attic. I couldn't wait till she read the next chapter and filled me in. I'd forgotten about that. Thanks for bringing her books up. Yes, and other things. I mean, it's not so fashionable to have Enid Blyton books, for obvious reasons. But we loved Enid Blyton's books. The famous 5, The Secret 7, Rillaby Fair Mystery. You're welcome, Scotty. It's a pleasure, says Catherine. Thank you. Glenn Peacock, chocolate, digestive, or hobnob? Glenn, why do you make it such a difficult choice? Is it a chocolate hobnob? Or is it a plain hobnob and a chocolate digestive? I think you need to clarify this. Very, very important. A strong cup of tea in the morning helps clear the brain fog. Alistair Campbell, when you say a strong cup of tea, do you have milk in it? Do you have sugar in it? That sort of stuff. There was an old lady in Edinburgh and her husband had died and he'd made a lot of money and she'd married well. And she was just an Edinburgh lassie, but she'd done awfully well. And she spoke the kind of Edinburgh version, the morning side of the Kelvin side. And they were in her house in Edinburgh and she'd invited an old friend for afternoon tea. And they were sitting there, she said to her friend, all very genteel, in the drawing room of the big Edinburgh flat. "No, does you take milk?" And she says, "Yes." And she says, "Does you take sugar?" She goes, "Yes." She says, "Does you take yin lump or twa?" We love all that. I don't know, this is my understanding from a Protestant background in the States, says Anita. "Yes, my wife said she wanted me to tease her. So I said, hi, all right, fatty." What was it? "My wife said she wanted me to make her scream in the bedroom, so the 3 upturned plugs on her bare feet should do it." Only joking. A merry jape. Yes, yes, says Anita. The Lion of Judah. Praise his name, says Eddie Doyle. Very good, Eddie. That's what it's all about, says Anita. Not enough sharing, guys, says the wonderful Tam Peden. Absolutely, Tam. All this talk about tea, I've had to make one with a low-fat fruit yogurt biscuit. Karim, have you had a fruit tea, a fruit infusion, or a chamomile, or a peppermint? These are very nice. A fruits of the forest. Bye, Scotty. See you tomorrow night. Thanks for another great stream. J-Dog Gaming, I thank you. And Dinky Doo, we'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock sharp, God willing, weather permitting. And dinner time, of course. I used to think they'd wake up at night as well. That's what I felt when I saw them. Gives you a funny feeling. I was inside it once. I heard about the echo lasting a year. Has a vibe all right. Catherine Raven, I'm so glad you've said that, because it means I'm not bananas. You know, it's just a feeling you get. There's something spiritual and magical about the Hamilton Mausoleum. There you are. Linda and Anna were so loved. I wish we could find them and get them on YouTube. Well, I'll see what I can do. Norman Conquest, 1066. Carlisle was part of Scotland. It was not recorded in 1086, the Domesday Book. In 1092, William Rufus invaded the region and incorporated Carlisle into England. But Karim, did it not also... Burns stayed in Carlisle, of course. There's a lot of that. Did it not also... Around the time Bonnie Prince Charlie went through Carlisle on his way to Preston, Willywood. Karim, you should just keep busy walking and exercising and eating normal food. Diets don't work out because you've got the energy you need to get up and go. Don't worry me with the way you eat, says Catherine Raven. Share, folks, says the wonderful Catherine Raven. Catherine, I make sure I'm about 2,000 calories a day. I try to eat healthy, especially more so now with COVID-19, to help fight this evil pandemic. Good for you, Karim. Share it to your groups. We can do it. Let's get the figures up for Scotty. We can do this. Yes, we can. I remember the story, King George closing down Parliament and overruling the Prime Minister on a war decision. Which King George are we talking about? A recent one. I mean, there was 6 Georges to date. So we need to find out which one. Can't see your notes, Scotty. So they are, oh, Catherine, sorry, it was just please share. It was just please can we like and share. So there we are, that sort of idea. You're enjoying the stream, Davey? Good to see you here. Kareem, make sure to take vitamin D3. Yes, but not too much, Alistair Campbell. Too much vitamin D3, not good for you. But a little bit can help to booster the immune, I think. I don't know about D3, I just know about D. Aye, it's good, hun. Thanks for dragging him in. Here, says Davey Young. Good idea, Alistair, says Catherine. Never miss, Catherine. I feel the benefits. Excellent, Alistair Campbell. Thank you. See, you get it, Alistair Campbell. There might be people thinking, oh, it's just this old guy going on and on and on. Don't know what he's on about. They don't get it. You get it. And it's very soporific, and it's very sort of healing for just a stream of nice people chatting during the COVID-19. I can only share on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, says Anita. Anita, that is above and beyond the Call of Duty, my darling. Thank you. Very, very much appreciated. Top lady. Top lady. I missed what you said Hitler wanted. Well, Catherine, you see, it was interesting because Churchill and Hitler wanted similar things in Europe. They wanted, and so did Prince Albert. They wanted a united Europe, right? Because there was so much trouble in Europe. It was a shame that Hitler was such a baddie, because they wanted to bring all of Europe together, but it was a conquering. You can't have this divide and conquer. But there was so much trouble in Europe from the Sarajevo murders that set off the tinderbox that was World War One. You know, the murder of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his good lady in Sarajevo in 1914, was it? The Royals are shambles now. The Queen must be sick to the back teeth. What's going on with her? Davy Young, don't get carried away with the family. They're just a family, right? This is called a family. The Queen is doing an outstanding job. Prince Philip at her side. He's 99. She's 94. From that point of view. So they're doing a wonderful job being the custodians and curators of the crown. So don't let human family stuff influence your judgment. There are also superb members of the family who work very, very, very hard. So there you go. So, you just have to not point the finger at the Queen. I liked Callahan, says Catherine Raven. Gentleman Jim. I liked lots of them. I liked John Major immensely as a guy, because he's just an ordinary guy. And even when I see him on the telly now, I saw him in some documentary, and I thought, he's just a nice guy. He's a guy you could talk to. And he was. And I remember being at a dinner with him, and he spoke brilliantly. And he told a very, very funny story about when they were at Chequers, and he had the Russian leader, Mr. Yeltsin, with him. And they were walking out in the fields after lunch. And they walked across the fields, and John had an old knee injury, I think from when he was younger. And Mr. Yeltsin was getting a bit puffed out because Mr. Yeltsin obviously liked a refreshment. And he said, what is there? And he said, a small village, just, the church and the pub. And gins and tonic, says Mr. Yeltsin. And John Major said, well, yes. And they were just out on their own, just the two of them, and about, a couple of hundred security staff. And they sent one of the guys down to the pub, and they're knocking on the door, and he goes, we're shot. We're very, who is it? And he says, it's the Prime Minister and the President of Russia. He went, aye, away, all the rights. And then he found out it was. And they had a light refreshment, I believe. But can you imagine somebody knocking the door and all that sort of idea? And it was the same. There was a lovely story at Sandringham House when Edward VII was on the throne. And he was out walking with his cousin Willie and his cousin Nicky and himself. And I don't know who else was there at the time. And they were going to be late back for afternoon tea. And an old carter came along with a pony and trap. And they flagged him down and said to him, could you give us a lift up the road? And he said, all right, not a problem. up you get. So they clambered in, and Edward VII said, I better introduce myself. I am the Prince of Wales. This is the Tsar of Russia. And this is the Kaiser of Germany. And the old guy goes, oh, aye. And then he said, you haven't told us your name. He said, I be Napoleon Bonaparte. We love it, you know. That was very informative, says Anita. Did you like that, Anita? See, when I was sitting listening to Scottie, all I can think about is the TV program Mastermind, and how good Scottie would have done on that program. Yeah, but I don't know how I would be when the lights go down and all that, and the audience go quiet. That was very informative, says one for Anita. You gave it a good go, says Glenn Peacock. There's an American actress, Peggy Lipton, from the Mod Squad in the 60s. Gorgeous, talented, Anita Page, like yourself. So there we are. Say goodnight and dinky-doo, everyone. Dinky-doo, Kareem. Both chocolates. Oh, Glenn, now you have given me a dilemma. So we're looking at a chocolate digestive and a chocolate hobnob. No, I'll have to have a think. I'll not sleep now. So there, I like a spot of milk and a squirt of honey in my tea, says Alistair Campbell. Bye, Scottie, says Sub-Zero. Bye, Sub-Zero. Lovely to have you with us. What's this about getting a cup of tea in Edinburgh? I thought that the woman would have had her tea. Gordon Robertson, harsh, but fair. No, I think this was afternoon tea. I love it when posh people swear, for example, when they say it sounds like yes. Yes, absolutely. Good one. Good night, Scottie. Dinky-doo. Stay safe, big man. Glenn, take care. Thank you for your wonderful Skype. I did not understand what you just said. Could it be it was not for a lady's ears? Oh, Anita, everything I say is for ladies' ears. Carry on, Kareem. Brilliant show again, Scottie. Good night. Good night, Tony. Let's raise a cup of milk in honor of living through these days. You're welcome. Thank you, Anita. Hi, Eddie Doyle. Donovan came from Maryhill with the great song, Colours. Are you trying to cheek up, says Troy? I don't know, Troy, are you? Need to go, Scottie. I'm getting told off from the nurses. I've got my earphones on. Enjoyed another good stream. Craig Cawthron, strength to you, my dear fellow. Get well. Absolutely. Love to all the nurses and the doctors. Hope you keep well, Craig, says the wonderful Gordon Robertson. Thanks, Gordon, says Craig. What's the earliest photo you've got of Scottie? Nowadays, babies are well documented. Oh, Welly's song, I've got me aged 4 at St Andrews on the beach when a wave splashed my knees and went into my eyes. And I ran up the beach and said to my mother, I got drowned. Can't upset the nurses. They have the painkillers, says Craig. Oh, yes, Craig. They would never do that to you, Craig. You maybe get a bed bath later. John Major was nice. So was the American one. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. Yes, I liked Reagan. He was an actor as well, of course. Not that John Major was an actor, but Reagan was an actor. That's why I liked him. I meant as well as my good self. Oh, yes, I'm an actor, you see. Catherine, I thought Ronald Reagan was wonderful, says Gordon Robertson. That was a great story, says Catherine. Which one, Catherine? I loved Maggie too. Gordon Robertson, interesting. Maggie. Yes, absolutely. Maggie, yes, who was Maggie? Was Maggie was Tam O'Shanter's mayor, wasn't she? Me to Gordon, he was a lovely man. Gordon Robertson, the Hearts, Catherine Raven. Stay on, Scottie, says Catherine. Anita Page says, yes, the Queen is and has been such an industrious leader since the young age of 19 years young. Yes, absolutely, 19 years. So what would she be? She was 10 at the time of the abdication, where her uncle David abdicated and her father took over the throne. Are you away, Kareem, says Catherine. That's a great Scottish thing, are you away? Ronald Reagan was the man who released a third of the world from political oppression. Excellent, Gordon Robertson. Bye, Glenn and Kareem Sweetwell. Hey, Stubeck, Scotty, says the wonderful Alistair Campbell. Good night, Catherine. That was the best typo to date. Evening, Scotty, says the wonderful nationwide coin hunt. We have to go, guys. We are out of time. I'm 15 minutes over once I've sung you the goodbye song. A fabulous stream tonight. Thank you so much for all your kindness, your generosity, for watching, for partaking, for joining in, for laughing, for crying, for giggling, for standing on the naughty step and off it, all that stuff, for being on a different bus, anything you like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Scottie Mcclue saying to every single one of you, please take great care of your dear selves, look after yourself, stay fabulous, make sure everybody subscribes. Evening, Scotty. Scotty, great chat. Dinky do, big man. Good night, Glenn. Good night, Scotty. Nationwide, good night. Lovely to hear from you. I hope you're well. And Dinky do. Right, the song. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. And a cheerio. Good night, my loves. Gordon Robertson, you're a very, very naughty boy. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy indeed. Gordon Robertson's just put $2.99 into the dollar bill. Thank you for these many moments. Love the goodbye song. Good night. Good night, Anita. Take care, Angel. Bye, Glenn. Bye, everybody. Ta-da, Lars. Mwah! Dinky-doo.